The storm shook the massive aircraft carrier like a wounded beast. Engineers scrambled across the deck, alarms blared, and the ship drifted dangerously in hostile waters. Hours earlier, the carrier's main engine, considered unbreakable, had died without warning. Every engineer on board had tried, failed, and tried again, but the steel heart of the ship refused to beat. Fear crept in. Not fear of the dark sea, not fear of the storm, but fear of losing lives. That's when the Admiral made a call no one expected. He called him. A man who had vanished from the Navy years ago. A man whispered about in every maintenance bay, every training class, every engine room. A man known as the Ghost Mechanic. And when he finally stepped aboard, soaked in rain, older than anyone remembered, people didn't know what scared them more, the storm outside or the truth he carried in his eyes. The USS Valor was the pride of the fleet, a carrier so advanced that sailors bragged it could take a missile hit and still fly jets by sunrise. But on that cursed night, pride turned to panic as the engine coughed once, twice, and died with a metallic groan that echoed through every corridor. Commander Lewis, head engineer, felt the air leave his lungs. Years of experience, hundreds of drills, sleepless nights studying schematics, none of it mattered now. The engine refused to respond. Sailors ran diagnostics, replaced fuses, checked wiring, reset the ignition system. Nothing worked. And above them all, the Admiral watched. Admiral Warren was not a man who feared storms, but the carrier drifting defenseless in contested waters. That made even his hands tremble. The ship held over 5,000 souls. One mistake and none of them would see sunrise. "Sir," Commander Lewis said, voice shaking, "we've used every protocol, every backup, every emergency restart." "And?" the Admiral asked. Lewis swallowed. "The engine is gone." Silence fell like a falling anchor. The storm outside slammed into the hull, making the lights flicker. The Admiral whispered, "Then we have no choice." Von junior officers watched in confusion as he unlocked a sealed emergency phone, one that hadn't been used in years. He dialed a number with hands that clearly remembered it. "Bring him in," the Admiral ordered. "Tell him the Navy needs him one last time." Minutes later, a helicopter sliced through the storm. When it landed on the deck, sailors braced against the wind to catch a glimpse of the passenger. An old man stepped out, wrinkled hands, weathered face, eyes like he had seen every sea on Earth and remembered each one. His name was Chief Randall Briggs, a legendary Navy mechanic who had retired a decade ago after a mission no one spoke of. Rumors said he once restarted a burning jet engine mid-flight using nothing but instinct and a wrench. Others said he refused medals because he didn't work for glory. As he stepped into the engine room, the young engineers stared at him skeptically. "That engine has beaten us all," one whispered. "He's too old," another muttered. But Chief Briggs only placed his hand on the cold metal. "You're hurting," he murmured to the machine, almost like talking to a wounded friend. "Let me see what they missed." The room fell silent, and slowly Briggs began. Chief Briggs moved with the calm precision of someone who had spent his entire life in the company of machines. While others saw steel wires and circuit boards, he seemed to see memories, mistakes, stress, and the silent language of metal. He climbed under the engine, flashlight in his mouth, hands trembling not from age but from something deeper. The crew watched as he touched one connection after another, humming softly, almost communicating with the ship. Finally, he stopped. "Commander Lewis," Briggs said, voice hoarse, "you ran diagnostics on the fuel lines." "Yes, sir," Lewis replied, "multiple times." "And the magnetic couplers?" "All functioning." Briggs nodded, but his eyes stayed on one specific panel. Slowly, he opened it, and every engineer gasped. The internal coupler ring was scorched black. "But that's impossible," Lewis cried. "That part is supposed to last 10 years." "It would," Briggs said quietly, "if someone hadn't replaced it with a cheaper, counterfeit component. The engine didn't fail by accident. It failed because someone sabotaged it." The Admiral arrived just as Briggs made the discovery. His face tightened, not just from the storm, but from betrayal. "Can you fix it?" the Admiral asked. Briggs didn't answer. Instead, he removed his old, worn toolbox, its metal scratched from decades of service. He opened it, revealing tools that had traveled more oceans than most sailors ever would. With the storm shaking the ship, with time running out, Briggs worked faster than anyone expected from a man his age. Sweat mixed with rainwater. The engine room grew hotter. Sparks flew as he rewired the damaged section. Commander Lewis joined him, then 2 more engineers. Soon the whole team was working under Briggs' comm instructions, moving in perfect rhythm like a choir guided by a master conductor. Finally, Briggs placed his hand on the ignition control. The entire ship held its breath. "Let's wake her up," he whispered. He pressed the switch. For a moment nothing happened. Then the engine roared, back to life, loud and proud, like a beast awakened. Lights brightened. The ship steadied. The storm suddenly didn't feel so strong anymore. Sailors cheered. Engineers hugged each other. Even Commander Lewis wiped a tear. The Admiral approached Briggs. "You saved us all." But Briggs shook his head. "I just reminded her who she is." As he walked toward the exit, Lewis called out, "Chief, will you stay with us? Teach us what you know." Briggs paused, smiled faintly and said, "I'm not here to stay. I just come when the ship calls my name." And just like that, he was gone, swallowed by the storm and the legends whispered by sailors. Sometimes, the greatest heroes aren't the loudest. Sometimes they are the ones who spent a lifetime listening. To people, to machines, to the world. And understanding what others overlook. Chief Briggs didn't just fix an engine. He restored faith. He turned fear into unity. And he proved that experience, wisdom, and heart can save thousands. Even when hope seems lost, legends don't wear capes. Sometimes they just carry an old toolbox.